culture of a company is responsible for its success, how to build it, human capital and its legal aspect. So to moderate this session, we have Dr. Munish Jindal amongst us, founder and CEO of Hover Robotics, founding president Mentorex, mentor at Change at Niti Aayog, TEDx speaker, Robostronaut. He is conferred with the highest civilian honor, Karamveer Chakra, by United Nations and is the Noble Asian of the Year 2018, the man who followed his dreams. He's the one who launched the concept of hoverboards, autobots, and mobility robots in India. Being the pioneer with over 600 awards under the hood, Hover Robotics is the #1 brand in India and featured among top 5 in the world. Dr. Jinder holds MBA from the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia, and PhD in Artificial Intelligence and Robotics from USA, running the largest ecosystem in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Munish Jindal. Welcome, sir. And on the panel, I would like to request Mr. Rakesh Seth to kindly please join us here. Chief Mentor, SHRM at Recosys. He is also a trustee of ICPI and has over 35 years of corporate, academic, management consulting, and training experience. He consults and speaks around the areas of strategy, organization design, innovation, reinvention, change, the experimental mindset, intrapreneurship, risk-taking, managing multiple stakeholders, people, performance, and productivity. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Abhishek Singla, partner at Burjon Law. Welcome, sir. Also, I would like to request on stage Mr. Akash Palival, founder and CEO at Bench on Demand. Bench on Demand is a tech-enabled web-based platform where organizations can meet contingent resource demand and can also deploy their bench resources. Bench on Demand helps companies in hiring and deploying contractual resources without worrying about notice periods, resource backout issues, and many more. Welcome, Mr. Akash. Next on stage, I would like to invite Mr. Ariman Mishra, founder and CEO 124, India's most affordable retail chain brand, and TEDx speaker, mentor at AIM and Startup India. Sakshi has been into the startup ecosystem for more than 10 years, being involved with the startups starting from the pre-revenue stage to post-funding. She's a part of Startup India and Niti Aayog initiatives of Government India, and as a mentor, she helps entrepreneurs in India. Welcome to all the wonderful people on stage, and I hand over the mic to Dr. Jindal.
So this is going to pave a wonderful way, as since morning we are hearing, and your host, your dost is back now again with you. Are you bored seeing me? Nahi? Chalo, thank you for acknowledging. So this fills me with energy. It's a privilege for me to sit on the dais with such eminent panel as of now, and on stage I am sure an experience of more than 100 years is sitting, so there's lots to learn, and we are going to talk more about human capital. And I would love to start it with you, Rakeshji, and you have been a CHRO and a chief mentor and all. So I would really love to know. So see, whenever we talk about a startup or a corporate or an organization, anyone, people start talking about resources, start talking about infrastructures, their companies, their offices. They forget the most important factor, the people. It's the people who build an organization. And we invest in our offices, we invest in our infrastructure, but we forget to invest in those people who have built it. So what is the real meaning of human capital? I pass on the mic to you.
Oh, that's a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is an excellent question which has been put by Dr. Jindal. I will try and answer it based on my experience, because there is no ready-made answers for this, and everyone thinks in this own format. But I can certainly talk about the journey which I have had with many large organizations, and the organizations which are great and organizations which are good, and what is the difference between the two. And it is really, we can say that it is the people who build organization, it is the people who build cultures. Now, when we talk about organization, what we are talking about, not really table chairs and the buildings that we have. That doesn't mean organizations, let me tell you. That means the physical infrastructure of the organization and the technical machines that you have in the organizations. That's not the organization. Organization means the people that you have, okay, and what they bring to the office every day. So what they really bring to the office every day is the values, expectations, and the behaviors which governs the working style of the organizations every day. So therefore, the companies which believe in this, let me tell you, they do wonders. Let me give you a couple of examples to elaborate what I'm trying to say is that, look at the groups like Tata's. Now, if somebody says, whether you would like to work for Tata's, now Tata's are the most preferred employees. They are not the great paymasters, but what they bring to the table is the careers, the culture, and the learning opportunities which they offer to the people. Now the second company, of course not now, I'm talking about mid-80s. Nobody wanted to work for Reliance. Reliance used to be the last choice. And today, Reliance is amongst the choice that they would like to work, because over a period of time, they have worked on their culture so much that today the Reliance is the preferred, the employer. So this is how we see that the organizations which purely spend time on the building the, buildings, the machines, they're unlikely to, perform better, and this has been proved by the technology that is in place. And what I foresee in the emerging years, that people would be working from the homes, and 50% of the offices will be closed down, and 50% of the all expenses offices will have enough space to occupy at a much lesser rates, the way the trends are. Because today you can work from anywhere. You can work from Starbucks, you can attend this meeting and also work and answer your calls. So therefore, what we are saying is that in the future, the culture is going to be altogether different what we have seen in 80s and 90s and till 2010. The mindset of 2010 is no longer applicable in 2022, and especially in the post-COVID environment, I see a drastic change in the people with regard to their organization design, and with regard to the infrastructure design, and with regard to the facilities which they are likely to provide to their people. Like earlier, once upon a time, cars used to be a great attraction. Today car is no longer a great attraction to invite an employee to join your organization. So from time to time, things have changed in my view, and the emerging trends are very interesting, where we will have more equalities. And another trend that we see, that the more and more women entering into the workplace, so that is also bringing in a lot of discipline and a lot of new thought process that's emerging. And in some of the functions we see the diversity is getting into, like I'm talking about in 1995 in human resource department, there used to be two women workforce and the 8 males. And in 2022, we have 10 females only. And somebody advertised yesterday that we are looking for only male candidates because we have all the 10 females.
Wow, huge round of applause for women.
So that's the change I'm talking about, you see, and you never know how things will move in the emerging environment. So interesting, the emerging times are going to be very, very interesting in my view, and the small companies, they will emerge, and especially the ones who really understand, how to treat and respect the people, they will only survive and thrive, you see. So that's how I look at it. That's take from my side.
Wow, that's a wonderful deliberation, sir. How you have made that transition right from 1980s to the 2022, that how times have beautifully changed. And times have changed just in past 3 years, post-pandemic. I still haven't opened my offices. You won't believe it. Neither the Delhi office, nor Faridabad, nor Ludhiana, because I'm more happy that work from home, because we are getting more productivity. We had growth of 500% just in pandemic. People won't believe it because we were working around the clock. The people in the offices who were working 9 to 7, now suddenly they are available at 11 p.m. also. Yes. So this is how the times are changing. So when the times are changing, I would love to know this from Mr. Abhishek Singla. How the HR and law is going hand in hand. Because when it comes to human resource, right, we think it's people, their job is to hire more people, right? Where does law comes into the picture?
See, law comes into picture from a concept of that how the organization has to be regulated, right? If I have to talk about the working hours, how the number of leaves and all that, that goes from the law, that how the organization has to be going on in terms of the management of the employees, right? We have number of laws in India and they are segregated in terms of there are certain laws which are more of from a center side and some are from a state specific. But if I talk about the government is doing a bit of betterment for the HR side is coming up with the labor codes, though they are not implemented or being made effective at this point of time, but they will, and which is for the betterment of the society itself. If I talk per se from the last 2 years, I won't say the law has come up with a major drastic, though the state governments have come up with a concept of for the state public or the private offices to work from home or to have an occupancy of 50%, some kind of a rules or regulations have come into play for an interim period of time when there was the scenario was hit by COVID-1.
As your organization takes care for the startups?
Yeah,
that
so,
part?
so
Wow.
I really want to give an example of my organization.
Just humble request to everyone, we will keep it quick.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So, going with my experience of about 14 to 15 years, I've never seen an organization wherein we get a balance of work-life balance. We are being supported to not work on weekends. We have been asked that they will be Monday and Friday will be work from home to get a better feasibility for the employees. We work 3 days from offices. We tend to create some kind of cultural activities on a monthly basis or probably on a fortnightly basis in the offices. So these kind of activities we are promoting within the organization in order to ensure that we can have a better culture within our office.
Wow. So this is incredible, and this I believe we need more people like you, because when the new startups come in, the founders, they don't have the knowledge about these compliances, these laws, and trust me, out of 100, out of 99 founders don't know about law and HR going hand in hand. So I'm glad that we have people like you who have come forward. Thank you so much for being there.
Thank you.
And from there on, I would like to pass on the mic to this wonderful gentleman, Akash Paliwal. And because I had heard this thing called show on demand, right? Or maybe car on demand. This guy had on a bench on demand. I had to literally ask them, what, this guy is bringing benches or what? Trust me, I'm being honest to you, right? Because I've been suddenly told that I'm moderating this. And I was like, bench, what this guy is bringing, like if you need, they said, okay, this guy, wonderful guy is bringing human capital, people, if you need more people in your organization, on contractual basis, on demand. I want to know how this concept came in and what this is about.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And thank you so much for all for being patient till now. So yes, this concept was with me from last 8 years. But yes, the only thing every entrepreneur looks forward is I need to do it now. Today is the time. And that is when I decided 7 months back and I started this. So I have been working in this professional services industry from last 12 years. I was leading India as a part of director, professional services, outsourcing deals. So there was a common pain point that every resource my client is hiring, either he is getting backed out, they are having 4 to 5 offers, or they are having notice period of 60 days, 90 days. So that is why we started this company called Bench on Demand. So probably this is what the introduction part, probably question next if you would like to ask.
So just quick, that this service is available for budding startups as well?
This is for everyone. So generally you won't get a person for 2 days, nowhere. And I'm not talking about freelancers. These are bench people, those who are working with stabilized companies. So for an example, tomorrow, 124 hours says that, Akash, I have a problem with my XYZ technology. I need a guide tomorrow for next 7 days because I have a product launch. I'll be able to help him out.
Same, I was going to comment that we don't even, we don't have an issue, but yes, certain times we're doing new product launches, or certain times we get invited to so many events. Suddenly what happens, like it's a new year, December, I'm lined up for another 11 events in this month itself. So I need extra team to have. So are you available only in Delhi or other cities as well?
So we are in Delhi, we are in Noida, we are also launching our office in UAE by February.
Wow.
So that growth is happening for last
So
7 months.
I want you to be at least in every nook and corner of India.
So that is what the plans are, and we are now probably, might look for investment after 3, 4, 5 months. But yes, growth is phenomenal. In last 7 months, we have touched $500,000.
Wow, that's great. So see, we are having transition from 1980s to 2022 with Rakesh ji, with the Singla Saab saying that how law and HR works together, and this gentleman who's bringing people on demand, I would say. The term is bench on demand. And with that, there comes this young lad, wonderful Mr. Aryaman Mishra, who has come up with 124. This is a wonderful concept, how he's organizing the unorganized, the retail, basically the Kriana merchants, right? So, obviously people know about you, but here we're talking about human capital. How are you growing the human capital when you are making the transition from the unorganized sector to the organized sector?
So thank you for having me here. Already late तो हो चुका है तो मैं सीधा point पे रहता हूँ. See, 2 points. Whenever we hire people, I believe जितनी भी milestones we have cracked, it's all about the team who was working in backend. So it's very important कि आप अपने team members को वैसे hire करें जो आपसे ज़्यादा curious हों. We believe, in our HR department, we always have a meeting in midnights also. We discuss that, we need to hire people जो आपसे, जो हो सकता है 4 साल या 5 साल बाद आपसे अच्छे लीडर उभर के वो सामने आए. So it's very important that you hire people who are more curious than you. And as I say that in the retail field, for the second question, I believe कि retail में definitely, from the blue collar to white collar, there are a lot of transition. And hiring को हम यही maintain रखते हैं कि सब, as I said, as Reliance, 1980s में कोई नहीं सोचता था, but अभी सबको Reliance join करना है. With the same motive, we believe that अभी इंडिया में सबसे trusted company तो टाटा है. It's a big thing which we are dreaming of. Maybe after 20, 30 or 40 years later, 124 will be also erupting as a company who can be said कि हाँ, ये टाटा के जैसे एक अपने सारे employees को रखते हैं. So it's very important that we are thinking of that. I believe dream होना important है. अब APJ अब्दुल कलाम ने तो कहा है, तो dream करते हैं, अब आगे execution पे निर्भर है that how we can execute more and more.
Wonderful, that's great, but Aryaman, I would like to correct you. Sorry if I'm wrong. Don't aspire for another 20, 40 years. Aspire for another 5 years. Remember what I said outside? That whatever I had achieved in 15 years, you can achieve in 5 years, because there was no one to handhold me, but there's so many to handhold you. So, keep a realistic figure that in
ठीक है,
another 10
deadline
years.
कम कर देते हैं, 5 साल में करना पड़ेगा.
Wonderful,
Done.
yes. This is the spirit we require. So when we talk, thank you so much everyone for acknowledging. So this is what is the power of people. When you have like-minded people working for you, working with you, you grow exponentially. In my organization, we don't address anyone as staff or employee. Everyone is addressed as associate. We don't give them a feeling that they are working for us. They are working with us. And the most important factor we shall never forget, people don't work for the organization. Don't ever feel that they work for XYZ or this organization. No, they don't work for mentor. They work for the people who's managing them. And a true leader's example is who create leaders. I ask people to come forward, give your ideas and execute it. And you won't believe how much business we are getting. Because this guy or this wonderful woman, they come in, they bring their idea, this is our idea, I say execute it. They bring in business, what we are doing, whatever the pay they are on, paying them, extra 10% out of the project they are fetching. So 90% we are getting. So this way, this out of the box thinking, we are growing exponentially. And we have to remember whatever we are doing in life, whatever business is, the first and the foremost investment is your people, the human capital. That is why this word human capital. So we have to be compassionate enough. We have to be inclusive enough. So keep yourself open. If you're sitting at the top, then keep yourself open towards listen to them. It could be their personal problem. Don't ever think that their personal problem is not your personal problem. Because soon it won't, there is a very thin line between a personal and professional problem of the person who's working for you. So soon it would come down and land you in a soup if you won't listen to them. Listen to them, be their friends, and grow from there. And from there, I have wonderful Sakshi Gupta ma'am here from Startup Visor. And I know how beautiful you are creating a startup ecosystem.
We are just trying.
Oh, see, that is the big. How many are trying? How many?
We are
Very,
just trying,
very
yeah.
few selective like you. So, how important is the role of people when you create the ecosystem?
Okay, so for me, startups is nothing but just the team of great people. If you do not have, sorry. Okay, thank you. So if you do not have great people, we cannot have a great startup. Having a great team of people is really, really important. And to acknowledge those people is even more important. And how we do that, we basically involve them in each of every decision that we make as a company. So we involve them as our partners. We do not hire them, we just hire them as their partners. We just have them as our partners. That you have to work with us as your own company. You are not working with us. You are building your own company. So that's how we are growing our company, and that's how we grow people.
Wow, wow, huge round of applause for Sakshi ji. See, this is what I was talking, that we don't call them employees or staff. She says that we call them partners. This is what is required for people to be adored, so people to be valued. So, this is the last round of questions I'm gonna ask, because I know we are getting late with the show. So again, I would head back to Rakesh ji. So Rakesh ji, in 21st century, when we talk about Industry 4.0, when everything is getting automated, artificial intelligence and robotics, I'm a big time fan of that, though I'm a commerce graduate, right? Still, I love working with the technologies. What is the best way to keep our people, what should I say, loyal to us?
Oh, that's it.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Because, you can't buy the loyalty.
Yeah, that's a good
what
one. We can
everybody,
never buy.
we all as a entrepreneur, we wants to buy loyalty by way of give him a little more extra, bucks, give him a car, give him, the excellent, laptops, okay, get him a good house, give him a loan, housing loan, because housing loan is one of the strategies to, bind a employee with you. But let me tell you, you can't buy loyalty. So loyalty is built over a period of time. And how do you build loyalty? There is a process for that, you see. Because loyalty is built when you have a culture of appreciation in the organization, culture for respect in the organization, and culture for, risk-taking in the organizations, and culture for experimental mindset, and culture for which I call the entrepreneurship, where you give chance to everyone to perform, become entrepreneurs by heading the other divisions in the organizations, and also where you have a culture where if a mistakes has been committed by an individual, you don't let him go from the organizations, because biggest mistake that we do, a person who has committed blunders, we sack him. And this is where I say that that's the quality of a immature entrepreneurs. This is where they say, what are the qualities of immature, entrepreneurs? This is one of the qualities of the immature entrepreneur, that if a person has committed a mistake, you sack him. And in fact, this is what Ratan Tata used to say, that the person who has committed a mistake, hold him. He is the best guy because he has, learned so many things while committing this mistake. He will be turned out to be an asset for our organization.
So that's really true,
Rakesh.
Rakesh.
Mindset, this is what we say. And this is how you win loyalty. So
Wonderful.
there is no ready-made answers, but
no, I totally agree with you.
Practice some of these things, then you can have loyal employees with you.
True, very true. So
and not employees, but they are partners, as you said. And I always say they are your consultants. You see, the future is using employee as a consultants, because in the future the employees are likely to be very expensive. You can't have a master-servant relationship with them. You need to have a not employee, but as a owner-consultant, relationship, wherein you leverage the knowledge which they have acquired over a period of time. So this is what I say, the mindset that the owners and the entrepreneurs will have to build over a period of time.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. This is what is required in today's time, that we should treat them as equal to us. In our organization, what we do, if there is a mistake by the employee, we never fire them. We don't even like scold them kind of thing. We do a thorough counseling, keep them. The advantage what we have gotten more of the productivity from them. out of the guilt factor. They were wrong somewhere. Now they want to prove themselves that I was wrong. Now I want to bring in maybe more business to the organization. They work more harder. And that is how they've been loyal. Thank you. So from there on, I might be going little out of the league with you, Mr. Abhishek Singlaji. I want to know how ethical it is to bind human capital under the reams of the law.
See, ethically, if I have to say from a contractual point of view, you want to say? Yeah.
Certain times they say, okay, sign up a bond for 2
Right.
years. How
Right.
ethical it is?
See, ethically, if I have to say that one person would have to stay with the company, ideally you are putting out a restraint on them. So it's just some way, it's just a very skeptical view on that side that considering when you get into a contract, there has to be a way out of that contract. They cannot, an employer cannot put an obligation on the other person to remain in the contract for a definite period of
So
time.
this is more like, this shouldn't be a one-sided contract.
Ideally, yes. In
Great.
terms of, I would say in terms of moving out, because that should be an option for an employee to move out at any point of time by giving a requisite notice, right? So that's the concept which we have also seen from a judicial precedence in India, that as and when any employee is been hired off and he is been asked to be with the company or with an organization, he also has an option to move out at any point of time by just complying certain formalities, which are necessary, taking into account the interest of the organization also, because that person would be holding certain responsibilities, and that responsibilities had to be handed over to the respective new person or the new joining and all that.
Wonderful. So see, if both sides they understand this thing, that if the organization understand that this guy wants to leave, so they let them go off gracefully. And on the other side, if that person also understand that I have certain responsibilities, I should pass it to my successor. So I don't think so. Then there would be any place for bonds or anything.
Right.
Great, sir. Thank you so much. So I'm very curious, Akash ji. I really want to know that how does the resume of these people, bench on demand, who work 2 days here, 7 days there, 5 days there, how does their resume looks like?
So in general, they don't work like that, 2 days, 7 days. These are few of the rare scenarios. But in generally, what I have seen that whatever contracts they are getting are minimum for 1 year. So these companies are mid-sized companies. They are not getting people just because they are not that much big brand. So for an example, if you have an Infosys offer and if you have an XYZ consulting offer based out of Noida, you will join Infosys, right? So that is where our target market are these companies, and they are good pay masters.
Wonderful.
So this is where we are creating and giving them people, those who are fitting into their culture. So we focus on 2 things. One, CTC. Second is also a CTC. The first CTC is a commercial part to the company, and second CTC is culture to culture.
Wow.
So if they are fitting into your culture, then that's a right fit, and this guy will not leave you. That is where a satisfaction level is coming from the client side. These people are not leaving. They are working even on Saturdays if required. They are compensating them, and they are happy that they don't want to hire further on-roll people, because end of the day they are happy with contractuals.
So it's like the double advantage. One is if they're free, they can work like casual. Second is while working casually, they could be absorbed by the organization itself.
That could be a possibility if the further agency on which payroll they are right now is agreeing to that.
Great, wonderful. So then to our wonderful young entrepreneur who's, creating wonders. So I want to know what one special thing you are doing in your organization in terms of human capital.
So we generally look for, as I said ना कि सबसे important है team बनाना. अभी 10x growth आ गया, 11x growth आ गया, वो तो हम कर रहे हैं. It's very important that we hire good people who can really correlate with the mission of the company. See, generally hiring, what we have seen that hiring की process होती है कि आप first round हुई, second round हुई, third round, fourth round पे closer हो जाती है. We try to do कि हम first और second round तक पे रखें, और second round पे we try कि management से the leadership team merge with the employees, whether it's blue collar or white collar.
Wow.
So the management is when speaking with the team right now. अभी ये stage है कि हम कर सकते हैं. If it is possible, definitely.
First, stopping a huge round of applause for this gentleman, because I come across youth and this is their main pain point, that we are going through 4 or 5 rounds of interviews. What is going on? And if you're cutting it down to 2, I really appreciate you for that. This is what is required in 21st century. I believe Rakesh ji and everyone on the panel would agree to this. Thank you. Yes, please.
So this is what we have built into the HR department. We also believe कि cutting down of this process help the team to filter out more good talents, and उनके लिए भी वो burden नहीं रहता है कि वो 4 round चल रही है, फिर वो भी decide कर रहा है पता नहीं क्या होगा यार, 4 बार तो meet पे बैठ के 1 घंटा. And second round पे if the management and the leadership team is there with them and helping it, उनको समझा रहे हैं कि भाई ये हमको करना है, this is how we need to flourish in the departments whether they are hiring. So it's very important कि हम उस तरह के लोगों को hire करें. So the same way, as I said, कि whenever we are looking for the team members and the team right now, we look for curiosity, we look for vision, we look for mission, that whether the mission is aligned or not. Because if the mission is aligned, they can do wonders. It's very clear. So और एक small चीज़ मैं और add करना चाहूँगा कि we always look for the people who are good at learning. आप 10 तरह के स्किल वाले लोग को हायर करने से बेटर है कि आप उसे हायर करें जो कि आपकी बात को सुन के और कुछ नया भी लाए. एफिशिएंसी, learning is more important. So we try to hire people who are very curious minded and learning a lot.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that is how, like earlier we used to talk about CX, that is customer experience. In my organ we have CXO, Chief Customer Experience Officer, and our offices are known as this Hover Robotics Experience Center. Though we are a product company, we never say that we are selling a product. We say we are providing an experience. But now there is another thing called EX, employee experience. That is what we need to, and I believe you are one of those pioneers who are doing this. This is much required, that we, being an organ, we really focus at customer's end, right? That customer is always right, we have to deliver. We now really have to focus at EX, the employee experience. If they are getting the good experience, they're gonna work, as Rakeshji said, we can buy the loyalty, but then they're gonna be loyal to us. And I'm gonna come to our very, very wonderful, the only woman in the panel, the energetic, the young Sakshi ji. We will close this panel with the last question. I want to know, what is one unique thing you are doing for your people at Startup Wise?
Well, we are not doing nothing, we are doing nothing unique.
Uh-huh.
We are just trying to have people. We bind them with the love and trust. We do not bind them with any agreement. So what we tell them is, work for your company. We will have you in our own equity as in how you work. अच्छा काम करोगे, equity पे आओगे. So that's exactly how we work.
Wow, wow. So you're straight away offering them ESOPs or the part of the company. See, these young birds, how much we have to, we can learn from them. Earlier, when we were talking about 80s or so, I have seen people, they join one organization, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50, they are retiring, and even after retiring, they are asking them, if there is some freelance or as a consultant, even if you're paying me 1/10 of my salary, I would work for you.
Yep.
So that is into their blood and soul. And now you guys are creating that kind of organ, and that is what I envision, that whatever people, they were with me since day one. It's been more than almost more than 20 years I'm working. Those people are still with me. Yes,
Sorry
please.
to interrupt you, because, moonlighting is at its peak right now. And how can we, avoid that moonlighting?
Okay, that I already answered. If you remember, that what I do is, if I get to know that this certain person they're doing, I welcome them both arms.
Exactly.
Oh yes, great. You know what I say? That why are you doing alone? Why don't you bring it to the company? You will have a strong backing of this large, company like MentorX. We are present in 65 countries. Suddenly your client will know that this is handled by them. Then you keep a pie of that. Certain share we keep it, and this way. Our business is growing. They are happy that, okay, our boss is okay with the moonlighting. You won't believe, one of the employee, and we were already needing another company. She was doing great. I myself registered another company in her name, and that company is also working for us now.
Exactly. Sometimes we get clients as well.
Yes, see, this is the beauty. So this is how, beautifully we can grow into the arena. This is a learning nuggets, the golden nuggets, both for the startup as well as the conventional businesses. On that note, thank you so much for the wonderful panelists, for hearing me out. And if I have been out of the league, I apologize for that. Thank you, you have been very kind. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Jindal, for being such a great moderator, and thank you all of you on the panel for lighting up this very sensitive topic for all the companies. Thank you very much. And I request Mr. Kulpreet Ahuja and Mr. Ankur Sareen to kindly please join us on stage so that we can felicitate this wonderful panel. And I begin with Dr. Manish Jindal. Dr. Jindal, please. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for them, please. Mr. Rakesh Seth. Mr. Rakesh Seth, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Abhishek Singla. He's the associate partner at Burgeon Law. Abhishek advises domestic and international clients across a broad spectrum of corporate work, including private equity and venture capital, acquisitions, joint ventures, domestic as well as cross-border, due diligence, and corporate commercial contracts. His experience also includes rendering advisory services on foreign exchange, infrastructure, and project finance. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Singla. Next, we would have Mr. Ariman Mishra. Ms. Sakshi Gupta. Let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Akash Paliwal. Let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen, as we are nearing the end of the show. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being such a great panel for us.